Peace, light, and love. It's your girl, Conscious Queen, and I am re-recording my Libra solar eclipse video. And this solar eclipse is in connection to solar energy, which is the sun, and the sun rules Leo. So, um, of course, Leo energy is connected to the fifth house. So, I don't highlight children, sex, romance, certain play, um, entertainment, dance, also entertainers, um, kind of like flamboyant kind of energy. So, yeah, so started with Pisces. Um, Pisces, this solar eclipse in Libra is in the eighth house. So, of course, Libra is a sign of partnerships. And the eighth house is a house of attachments. Um, so the eighth house is not only attachments, but it is a house of sex, um, entanglements as well, you know. So, um, I mean, Pisces, you are the high priestess. So, with the eighth house being connected to entanglements, there could be another woman involved, or you know, somebody else's spouse. Um, this is also a codependent house, so it's house mean um, spousal support and things like that. The eighth house is also a very psychic house. It is a house that deals with occult knowledge. Okay. Um, you could also be receiving support from others, or other people are supporting you. All right. Um, this is the house of secrets as well. So, you also had a South Node entering the eighth house. So, the eighth house is also the house of death as well. It is the house of crisis and trauma. Okay. Um, with the South Node there in the eighth house, something could come up from the past. Um, something connected to secrets. The eighth house is also a house of like sexual diseases. So yeah, be mindful of that. Um, Mercury is coming out of your eighth house as well. Um, your spouse could also be the one that's like having sex with other people. Um, Mercury is also like secret communication. Um, and you have the sun there in the eighth house. So sex with your spouse is definitely highlighted for you. Or just sex in general. um, the eighth house is also an obsessive house. It also is in a house of like investigation, um, like things like that. There could also, like I said, be something about your spouse's money or joint finances. Um, the eighth house, there could also be a sex addiction as well. This eighth house is in a square to Pluto in the 11th house. Um, so with the eighth house in a square to Pluto in the 11th house, um, this is tension with friends, like sex with friends, or your spouse having sex with friends. Mercury in the eighth house is also going to square Pluto in the 11th house. So, like sexual communication from friends. Um, Pluto and Capricorn is also connected to fathers. So, there could be something with friends connected to parenting. Um, the government as well. Like you could have friends that work for the government or friends that have a business, or just like parenting in general. Um, with with the Sun and Mercury in the eighth house and the square to Pluto in the 11th house, there could be like some jealousy when it comes down to friends. Pluto is a really dark energy. Pluto is connected to like power and control and obsessions and things like that. Um, yeah, Pluto is connected to death, sex, secrets, scandals, and things of that nature. So this is really a codependent energy. And like I said, it's an energy of secrets, um, you know, sex and stuff like that. So there could be, especially with it being a solar eclipse, you know, some kind of major shift and change with how you connect with your friends. Um, so yeah, that is what I have for Pisces. All right, and for Aquarius, so Aquarius, this solar eclipse in Libra, along with the South Node, is in your ninth house, and it's in the square to Pluto and Capricorn in the 12th house. So the ninth house is a house of law and legalities, court appearances and lawsuits, long distance travel as well. Pluto in the 12th house of government control and power issues. There's yeah, so some kind of connection to the government. The 12th house is also connected to prison as well. Um, there could be fathers in jail or hospitals, because the 12th house is the hospital as well. Libra in the ninth house is karma as well as long distance relationships. Um, the ninth house in a square to the 12th house could indicate a need to rest and sleep from travel. Pluto in the Pluto and Capricorn in the 12th house is also parenting. I also want to say that the 12th house is connected to a loss as well. Um, so, like I said, that could be something with a parent. Um, the 12th house is also the house of prayer. It's a very spiritual house. All right. So, the ninth house is the house of Sag, which is your 11th house, Aquarius. So, there could be some long distance travel with friends or in connection with friends. Um, the 11th house is also associated with your goals. So your long distance travel could have something to do with your goals as well. Your networking, yeah, networking with others at a distance. The ruler of your ninth house is Jupiter, which is retrograde in your fourth house, Aquarius. So um, there's some kind of connection with friends in your home as well, or you being at your friend's home, or however. Um, you do have the sun in your ninth house, and Mercury is in your ninth house. With the Sun and Mercury in the ninth house, like I said, this is a very spiritual house. So you could be learning some things about spirituality, learning some things about law. Um, like I said, this is a house of legal issues. The ninth house is also a house of like loans, banks, financial institutions, higher learning, travel. You could be traveling with a partner or planning like a long distance trip. There's also a higher truth and philosophy when it comes down to relationships and marriage. So, yeah, this is a house of higher learning and wisdom. So, when it comes down to partnerships, it's about learning, um, yeah, a higher lesson. The ninth house is also a house of like divorce court, family court, child support, things like that. And so, with the sun and the South Node in Libra in the ninth house, there could be something in the like a similar situation from the past that comes up in regards to your relationships. Um, like I said, divorce as well. Also marriage, because the ninth house is the house of the spouse or the second spouse or something like that. So yeah, definitely higher learning when it comes down to your networks and your relationships. All right, so that is what I have for you. And you can also have friends that are very spiritual, friends that are into law. Um, your goals and networks could be in connection to law. The ninth house is also like loans and things like that, credit. Um, so your goals and everything could have something to do with, working on your credit, banks, financial institution, college, student loans, and things like that. So, yeah, this ninth house is connected to your 11th house. So, definitely networking, meeting friends, working on your goals. So, yeah, that is what I have for you, Aquarius. All right, and for Capricorn, so for Capricorn, this solar eclipse in Libra is in your 10th house. You have Mercury that has moved through your 10th house as well as the South Node in your 10th house. And the 10th house is in the square to your first house. So the first house is your body, your identity, your appearance. Um, the sun in the 10th house is returning to a father or your boss. The sun is in the 10th house is also recognition. This is the world, how you put yourself out there. This is also the natural house of Saturn, which is retrograde in your third house. So the third house is the house of your siblings, your neighbors, and your community. Can I put a coconut for the baby? Can you what? Would it be okay to put a coconut for the baby? Mm-hmm. Okay. So local travel is indicated in your third house as well. There could be some communication issues with Saturn retrograde. The third house is connected to your 12th house, which is Sag. So the 12th house is the house of isolation. Like I said, there could be some travel and communication issues with a parent because the 10th house is the parent as well. Um, so, like I said, the third house is connected to the past as well. So, like, childhood friends, I said your siblings, um, local travel, could be going to like an old neighborhood that you grew up in or connecting with friends that you grew up in. The third house is also like social media, a lot of communication, like talking on the phone, um, like the house of gossip as well. So, With the third house in connection to your 12th house, the 12th house is an isolated kind of house. It's also the house of sleep and rest and prayer. Okay. This is a very reclusive energy. The 12th house is also a house of prisons and hospitals. Um, I did mention rest and sleep. So there could be a need to get more sleep as well, Capricorn. Or you could be like catching up on some sleep. Saturn retrograde in the third house is also connected to a father. So, yeah, this is connected to your 10th house. You could be communicating with the father or about a father. There's definitely something parental here. There's parental energy. Um, yeah, a lot of communication with siblings. The third house is a very busy house. The sun in the 10th house, yeah, it's definitely like a father. And it's also the world. This is where your energy is. Um, this is where your energy is directed at. Okay, receiving recognition, putting yourself out there into the world. Like I said, parents is highlighted. Um, Business as well, because the 10th house is a house of a business. Pluto in your first house is on the cusp of your second house, so Pluto will start to enter your second house, but Pluto in your first house is in a square to your 10th house. Pluto in your first house is the energy of Scorpio, which is your 11th house. So Pluto in your first house could bring up dark connection and attachments with friends. So Pluto in the 11th house could bring up jealousy, manipulation, even death for some, power and control. A lot of dark underhanded energy here. Sex is also a factor with Pluto connected there. Obsession, secrets, money. The government could also be involved. Okay, so that is what I have for you, Capricorn. All right, and for Sag, this solar eclipse in Libra is in your 11th house, where you had Mercury and you have the South Node in your 11th house. The ruler of your 11th house is your third house, which is where Pluto will soon enter. Okay. But Pluto in the second house is in a square to the sun in the 11th house. So Pluto in the second house is money, but it's also other second house things: jewelry, cars, shoes, clothes, etc. Anything you buy or you find valuable. Pluto in the second house is a very powerful energy when it comes to money and the things that you have. Um, Pluto in the second house comes with the force. It can come with manipulation. Um, could have even involved a death for some. Pluto in the second house may come with taking a loss. The government could be involved as well. Pluto retrograde Capricorn in the second house could also involve a parent or a father. There's a death and rebirth here when it comes down to your money and the things that you have. Um, Jealousy and manipulation could be involved. This could also be money pertaining to a business or um, merchandise with Pluto and Capricorn in the second house. Um, Also hard work. With the square to the sun in the 11th house, this is about connection with friends, relationship with friends. Um, you also have Mercury that's coming out of your 11th house. So you'll be communicating with friends about relationships or looking to couple with friends. You could be hooking friends up or spending a lot of time with friends. You could get into new relationships with friends. You also have the South Node in the 11th house, so a past friend may appear, or a similar situation from the past may appear. The South Node in the 11th house is also like a karmic energy. So, there could be some karma attached with friends, be it good or bad. Um, but yeah, there's like, I don't know, there's some tension here with friends and your money, or um, other house things. All right. So that is what I have for Sag.